Hello everybody, this is Tina with Tia's Treasures, and today I have for you something a little different. I'm going to show you how to make your own transparencies, in this case butterfly transparencies. Now Tim Holtz has got some. Now they're thinner on acetate and a little bit more colorful. Mine are cheaper. You can do as many as you want. And you know, sometimes you might just have a particular butterfly you want to do a transparency of, or a particular image. So this way you can do whatever you want and don't have to go searching to see if any of the any of the manufacturers make it. So anyhow, let's get started. Now here I have got a bunch that I have made already. Now to make these, we're going to use vellum. As you can see, they're not 100% see-through, but they are pretty good. I mean, you can see through this tag into the background. They're translucent more than transparent. They're not totally transparent because, of course, vellum is a little bit more translucent than, say, acetate. Now, I did experiment with acetate, and it does work, but it's even thicker than the ones that I've made from vellum, and you've got to be a lot more careful about drying it, and it's harder to put color down on it. I suppose you could try like a StazOn ink. I've got some, but I decided not to even bother with it because I was really happy with the vellum ones. But this, again, this is one made from acetate, where I used the archival ink on it, and then I tried to put a little bit of an alcohol marker, but the alcohol marker was taking up the archival, and I was getting a lot of that ink right on my pen tip, my marker tip. And so you've got to be careful with that. And you have to be careful with these butterflies that I do on vellum as well, to make sure that they're completely dry, the ink, or it too can get on your markers. I tried with watercolor markers, and I tried with the alcohol marker. And the alcohol marker gives a little bit better color, but again, both of them, if it's not completely dry, will start to take up the ink. So, you know, you've got to really make sure that it's dry. I tried drying it with the heat tool, and that didn't work as well as letting it sit overnight. So anyhow, let's get started. I'm going to show you how to do this. Let's go ahead, and I've got my Misty here. And the reason I've got my Misty is because I am going to show you using this kitchen stamp butterfly, which is what I've got on this here. I do recommend using colored ink to make these. I think it shows up a lot better. It's a lot prettier in my opinion. We've got like one with brown here. I'm going to show you this one. We're going to make that into a butterfly. This one here is made with colored ink. And what's that in the back of that? Little piece of plastic I didn't get off. And we've got this one with an orange ink. Now this one I did not color very good. You can see I tried putting some contrasting purple, and it just didn't look good. If it doesn't look good when you're coloring it, it's not going to look any better once you put it through the laminator or the Mink. So keep that in mind. Anyhow, let's get going with this. Got my piece of vellum that I cut out already, and where did I put it? I put everything so they would be right here, and it's not. It just, that's me all over. Okay. I don't know what I did with the half that I was going to use, but here's the other half. It's just a half a sheet of regular vellum. This isn't even a heavyweight vellum. It's one of the cheaper ones I've had in my stash for some time. What is that? I got a little piece of string on my grip mat here that is going to drive me crazy if I don't get it up. Okay, so I got that. I don't think I need a magnet. And the only reason I'm using this instead of my stamping block is because you don't need to see my big head in the way every time I try to line these up. I'm going to put that right there. I still might have to have my head in the way. I don't know. And get that. And I've got some ink here from Simon Says Stamps, some positively saturated ink. And I think, is this from lightest to dark it recommends? Or, yeah, lightest. Most people stamp from the lightest to the dark. Okay, so we're going to start with Dew. I've got Dew, Mist, and Raindrop. I figured they're a little bit different color blues than what I've had on my tag. I hope I'm not out of frame here. Let me move this and move this up a little bit. Stamp that out. And I kind of like the way it's a little modeled there, so I am not going to restamp that. And get this. The middle layer here. I love these kitchen sink stamps. A lot of times they look real realistic to me. Get that lined. Let me see. That looks pretty good. Another thing, if these aren't lined up perfectly, it doesn't really matter all that much because once you die cut it, you're not really going to notice. This one wasn't lined up perfectly and it looks fine. Next, we will try the Mist ink. Ooh, that is a pretty blue. Wow, look at that. That is so nice. Get that. And we'll wipe that down. Keep moving this far out of my way. I have got stuff all over my desk. I have just been busy with a lot of different projects and it's just clutter everywhere. Tim Holtz would hate my work area because he likes to have his area clean after he cleans up, I guess, after he does this stuff. Me, not so much. I kind of put it to the side and I straighten up. I don't clean as much as I should because I have just too much stuff. I don't even know where to put it all. Okay. As you can see, that is not perfect, but I am not going to let it stress me out. I probably should have tried to dry the layer in between. That might have made a little bit of difference. But I'm going to have to try to dry it a little bit now because I don't want to put it in soaking wet. I probably could use it soaking wet, but I don't want to smear it if we don't have to. I'm not sure if it would smear. But let's go ahead and get our mink heated up, which is what we are going to use. I'm going to put it to 3. Turn that on, put it to 3. And what I'm using is laminating pouches. Now, I've got these just normal Scotch brand thermal laminating pouches. And that's what we're going to use to make our transparency. I couldn't find my carrier sheet, so I've just been using a piece of parchment, which works fine. I don't have it cut real well, but hey, it works. And I also, I have a die. Well, we'll get to that in a minute, I suppose. First, let me try to dry this off somewhat. Just so it's not quite as wet. You can see, you know, from the shine how wet that ink is. Now, I still wouldn't want to put my hands in here because it probably would still smear at this point. But I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to cut that. And cut this down a little bit more because I am going to go ahead and I am going to put these butterflies that I made earlier in the laminating pouch as well. Now these were made using the Tim Holtz watercolor. I used a lot of these, and then I cut them out with the dies. I wanted to make sure I had dies for all of these because it would have been a little bit of a pain to fussy cut. You can fussy cut them, but why would you want to? Like I said, a little bit of a pain in the butt. So let's get my laminating pouch. And we're going to put all these in. Turn this off real quick. We'll put that one there. And I just want to make sure these have all of enough room. Get this last one. Okay. Move this over here so you can see it. Hopefully it's in frame. We'll run that through. And we're going to try to keep it straight because if it comes out and it curves, you're going to get that in your transparencies. You don't want to pull it. Let it go at its own pace. So I hope everybody is having a beautiful spring. It's starting to spring anyway. The grass is turning green. I've seen some buds on the trees, not a whole lot. We're kind of at that. Any week now, you're going to just like one day you're going to go outside and it's going to be all green out there. So I am done with this for now. So I'm going to turn that off, try to get it out of the way. And you're going to see these are up. We smeared it. See what happened? It was not dry enough and it really smeared. I am surprised because this one, when I made it, it looked like it was about that wet. Well, no biggie. Now you know what not to do. Do not do this if your ink is still wet. Obviously, it was way too wet. So I'm going to have to make another one. But I can do that off camera because we still have these 4 here. So let's go ahead and we're going to just cut these out. And then we're going to die cut them. I tried die cutting these with just the Platinum 6 machine, and it didn't give enough pressure. So I just got my little bitty Hero Arts compact cutter here. I'm sure it's comparable to a Sidekick. Speaking of Sidekick, I use Sidekick plates. Now, the reason I use these is I bought them just to see if they would work with this machine because the Sidekick plates are a lot longer and I didn't want to have to keep cranking, you know, the same amount that I would for my like Platinum 6. That kind of defeats the purpose. I wanted something I could just put in there and, you know, I could do it really quick. And as far as I know, these plates are the same size as the Hero Arts one. I don't really see any discernible difference. They might actually be even a little bit skinnier, I'm looking. But they work to cut these out. Now I'm wondering if I should try this. I think I'm going to try this plate just to see if it cuts out a little better, because around these antenna, sometimes, well, not this antenna, but like this antenna here, I had to go in and just cut out this tiny little triangle right at the very end. It didn't cut, but everything else came out. And also, I recommend using some little Post-it notes underneath your die cuts, because that gives it something to grab onto a little better. The steel cut die, when it's going through and it's exerting the pressure, it needs something that it could really, I don't know, something it can go through easily, I guess. I'm not sure of the science behind it. But I do know these cut better when they have my little Post-it notes. So let's see here. Put those down and we'll see if I can fit these all through. I might be able to fit all of them because it's a longer pad. We are close. Let's cut this one a little bit closer. And the same with you. And now we can fit them all easily on here. And we will see. You know what? I'm an idiot. I don't have the dies on here. I am sorry. You're probably all watching me going, aren't you missing something? Yeah, I really am. Sorry. And which ones are the same? These two are the same, so I can't do them at the same time anyway. Don't get old, I swear. Old age. Actually, it's lack of sleep. I can't believe I just did that. I'm like listening for the crack. I'm like, why isn't it cracking? You don't hear it cutting. That's just too funny. I have got to say, that is the first time I've ever tried to die cut without using dies. What did I think was going to happen? Magic? If you've ever done anything idiotic like that, let me know. I'd love to hear it. So I know that I'm not the only Dumbo. Stuff happens. You just roll with it. And hopefully this is even. The nice thing about that is you can actually turn it around and see, and I can be like, no, that's not even at all. That's why you try to get your head, you know, put your head down there. But we don't want my head in this shot. I'm not afraid of showing my face. Maybe today I'm not looking my best. But one of these days when I figure out how to get the camera to face me, I'm using my iPhone right now. Man, I will show you my face and we can like do this live. Let me take it out of frame for a second. Okay. We got that one done. Now this one, I believe, is the one with, is that got antennae? The only one with antennae. It's not this one. This one. These are, a lot of these are so close looking that it's easy to mix them up. you. Okay, we've got you. What about you? This guy here. Is it you? It is you. I swear that I've got a bunch more butterflies, but a lot of them are die cuts, and there's not as many of them that you actually stamp and then die cut out. You could use like paper between this, but it wouldn't be transparent then. But if you wanted something in acetate, so to speak, or laminated, you could use any sorts of dies, anything you've got really, that would fit between two pieces of the plastic pouch. You could do this with any sort of greenery. I mean, you could do it with actual flowers, pressed flowers. I think that would look real pretty. The possibilities are endless. Of course, you wouldn't really need dies for that, would you? See, there's that kraken I wanted. Can't get that without a die. Okay, and let's pop these out. And these are popping out wonderfully. Let's see, are all of them going to come out that good? Oh, see, this one is sticking a little bit right there where I said it would. But it's still pulling out fairly easy. But where it doesn't pull out, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to do this so we can get this big piece off. And we're going to go in and find out exactly where it's failing to come out. We're just going to follow these lines. And we might have to go in there a little bit more. Yeah. It's right in the little corner there. We've got the two, where the two meet up. And I think I'm gonna have to go in there with my reading glasses a little bit later and maybe clean that up just a smidge. And lastly, we've got this one here. Now the nice thing about this is after you die cut it, you do have these little paper butterflies you can always save if you want to and use them on something. And this did not cut as well as I would have liked. You know what I'm going to do with this little guy here? I'm going to redo him. Let's just get that right in those lines. It's really easy. We could just kind of click it in place. And I am going to go back to my favorite little plates here. I'm going to use my little bitty plates because I like these. And back and forth in that one. Let's see, did that help at all? It did. It got it so we only have this little bitty spot right there now, and I can just cut around. Get that off. Cut that big piece off and go in there and just get that little bitty piece. Can't see what I'm doing. time to get the old readers on. I got a pair of reading glasses here I keep. Ah, that's much better. I can actually see. And I don't know if you can see. Got that little bitty spot right there. We're gonna just cut that off. See, and that just comes right out. And I have quite a mess right here in front of me. See, this is how I get my area so messed up. And we have one more to cut. Let me clean off my plate. There's my dog. You must see something in the window. I'm going to go back to my regular size plates, my mini plates, my actual cutting pad for the sidekick. Guess I've got a couple of these because I managed to crack this at one point, which if something is has that much pressure, do not try putting it through your machine. You might ruin your machine. Luckily, I only cracked my pad. I'm able to keep using these, but I do have some new ones. I just haven't tried yet. I figure I'm going to keep using these until they are completely like lined up and gunky and everything else. Okay, so we've got that one more that we're going to try. And let's get this. My Post-it note doesn't want to come off my pad. I'm just having one of those days, aren't I? And we've got to find, I believe, is it this? Is that, no, it's not the correct die. Neither is that. Is this one? Nope. I'm batting 1,000. I think the one that was first in my hand that I just didn't think looked right is the one that we should have used. So if you are enjoying this video at all and, you know, maybe laughing at me for trying to die cut with no dies, give it a thumbs up, please. It helps the algorithm a lot. And being as I am not a prolificate, is that the word I want? Poster of videos, it will help the algorithm and help my poor little channel. Okay, now let's get this cut out. And I don't like the way that looks there. I cannot get this lined up as much as I want. I've got it in my hand. Okay, that should do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. And get this through there. I love that sound. It's just like cutting. It means less cutting for me to do when I hear that. And the little antenna are stuck. So let's go ahead and put it through one more time. I mean, what's it gonna hurt, right? Take that out. I don't know if that'll make a difference. After I said use it, it helps. Definitely going through more than once helps. This is still not 100% cut, but it is cut more than it was. So I'm going to get my little scissors again, get that out of the way, and we will just give this some cuts to get this big piece of plastic out of the way. And I was thinking of showing how I made this tag, but the great big butterfly that I had, of course, got all smeared when we didn't have the ink dry enough. So I think we're going to do something else. these in here. And put these back with my butterflies. This out of the way. These out of the way. And all this mess. And we'll take a look and see what we could do. We've got a tag here. And we've got all these butterflies. I mean, look at these. Look at the color on this one. That's pretty vibrant there. That one's a little bit less vibrant. That one, I guess, the coloring is not that great, but if we put it on something maybe dark enough, we can hide that. So I have got an idea. Let's go ahead, and if you want to stick around, I'm going to make a quick tag. If you want to leave, thank you so much for making it this far. So, we get, these are oxides. A little bit of spray stain over here. I think it's time for a new paper. We'll just turn it over. I was going to say I need a new paper towel, but I think I can turn that over. And what color were we going to use? I did like this one. Well, let's just play it by ear and see what happens. Let's take a little bit of, we've got some Twisted Citron. We'll do just a little bit of spray that way. Wipe off the top of that. And then let's go and do a little bit of Gathered Twigs. And this we can definitely make sure it's dry enough. Put that up. Get our pepper. Doesn't look like much now, but we'll get there. We got some big splotches. We can kind of just get those off. Now we also want a little bit of, let's do a little bit of, we'll get some seedless preserves. Let's shake that up. I know, just a hodgepodge of colors, but trust me, this is either going to look good or we're going to be like, what were we thinking? And it's just a little bit of sparkle is my, ooh, that's not good. As I say, trust me, that was awful. I do have some new caps for these if I need it, but I was hoping not to need them quite so soon. I mean, I do clean off my caps after every time I use them. Oh, now it works. Yeah, sure. And it sprays a little bit where I didn't want it in the green. Okay, so are we making brown? We might be. Well, if we're making brown, let's go ahead and use a little bit of Vintage Photo then. Because we're going to end up using Vintage Photo ink. So, when in Rome, you know, and wipe that off. Put all my spritzes away. And we're going to Yeah, you don't really see the purple too much in there. You see it a little tiny bit. Let's mop up some of that. And now we are going to come in with some vintage photo. We're going to go around our tag. And we're going to kind of figure out what colors we're going to use. Get rid of that manila look a little bit. We're just going to rub a little bit of this on. Okay, so we're going to use go ahead and we're going to use this. And for this one, I'm going to use some vintage photo as well. So I've got some archival vintage photo. So let's just go ahead and put that down everywhere. Little twist to try to get as much ink on here as I can out of these little bitty cubes. I'm thinking I should probably buy the 4-pack with the black soot archival, and I think it has ground espresso and the vintage photo and one other one, maybe hickory smoke. I think a 4-pack. It's like $30 though for the 4-pack of the bigger inks, and I spend so much money. And so I think I'm gonna have to quit spending quite so much. Okay, I love the way that looks. Let's get this wiped down. Get this back in the package. And this is an older stamp set. This is a Papillion set 106, and I just love it. It's like, do so much with it. Okay, and now put that down, and we're going to use ground espresso because I want something a little bit darker, but I don't want the black soot. That's a little bit too dark. And we'll put this right there off to the side. Give that a good press. Put that up. Wipe that. Definitely liking this one a little bit better than this one, but that's okay. They can't all be like 1,000. Some of them are maybe 900. And what did I just drop? Oh, I dropped my tape. Okay, and so you know what? I think I do want a little bit of blue around the edge, like we've got here. So let's go ahead and use, let's see. Should we use a little bit of mist, or yeah, we'll do some mist. I could go back and go through some of my stash and get some different blues, but this one's on the table, so why not? Just use a little bit of it. Now I've got a lot on this tag here, so let's see if we can get this a little bit lighter on this tag. We've definitely got the purple. I don't know if you can see it, but Man, that purple shimmer is pretty. I didn't think I was going to like it quite as much, but it turned out pretty good. Look at all the blue we've got right there. Let's try to get a little bit extra blue down here, maybe in between. Ooh, look at that. Okay. And let me wipe this off. Where is my hand sanitizer? I need to get a little bit more of this. I seen a big thing of it at the store and I was being cheap. I'm like, oh, I don't need it yet. And since I said that, I can't find it again. So it's like if you see something and you know you're going to need it soon and you got the money, go ahead and get it. Okay, so we have got the purple butterfly, which is why I put some purple spritz down. We can actually use 2 transparency on this. We've got blue. I said we had the orange, but we don't have any orange on here. Again, so kind of thinking these 2 here. Got that one and maybe this one, and then we could put a saying. It's kind of empty down here with that though, don't you think? Of course, that's where we could put a saying. Let's see what we can find really quickly. We got our clippings here, and hopefully it won't take me all day to find something. Anyhow, I'm going to take a look and I will come back when it is done. Okie dokie, so I finished off the tag. I used some Distress Collage Medium to glue these down. I just glued them right in the very center, which is what I probably should have told you I did with this one as well. It's just glued down in the center. You really can't see the glue. This one I may have to glue again because it is kind of sticking up. I'm thinking it's got enough glue down there right now and right up here that it's not mattering as much. And I took a quote chip. I couldn't really find anything in the where I was looking at first, and I took just a couple of little tidbits, you know, some ephemera, and I glued it down. I kind of liked the way this looked, and I put some twine, and that is it. So again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love to have you. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much. And either way, just if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. And hopefully I will have some more projects or some more videos coming soon. And anyway, that is it for now, everyone. So bye-bye.